Most gardeners think November means the growing season is over. They're missing out on vegetables that actually prefer cool weather and taste better after a light frost. November in mild winter climates, zones 8 through 10, is prime planting time for crops that struggle in summer heat. While northern gardeners are putting their beds to sleep, southern and coastal gardeners can fill their gardens with fast-growing greens, root vegetables, and herbs that will produce through winter. The key is knowing which crops thrive in 50 to 60-degree weather and which ones will just sit there doing nothing. Plant the wrong things now and you'll waste money and garden space. Plant the right things and you'll be harvesting fresh vegetables in January, while everyone else is buying expensive produce at the grocery store. November weather in mild climates creates perfect growing conditions that don't exist any other time of year. Daytime temperatures hover around 60 to 65 degrees. Nights drop to the mid-40s. This range is ideal for cool season crops that bolt or turn bitter in summer heat. Pests are largely dormant. Aphids, whiteflies, and spider mites that devastate spring gardens are barely active in November. You can grow leafy greens without them turning into insect buffets. Disease pressure drops significantly too. Fungal problems like powdery mildew and downy mildew need warmth and humidity. Cool, dry November weather keeps these diseases in check. Soil is still warm from summer, which helps seeds germinate faster than they would in early spring. By the time soil cools down in December and January, your plants are already established with strong root systems. They'll keep growing slowly through winter instead of struggling to get started. Arugula is the fastest leafy green you can grow in November. Seeds germinate in 4 to 7 days. You'll be harvesting in 3 to 4 weeks. The cool weather makes arugula taste peppery and complex instead of harsh and bitter, like it does in summer heat. Sow seeds half an inch apart in rows or broadcast them in a bed. They need almost no care beyond occasional watering. Mache, also called corn salad, is cold hardy down to 20 degrees. This green tastes nutty and mild. It grows in dense rosettes that you harvest by cutting the whole plant at soil level. Seeds are tiny and slow to germinate. Expect 10 to 14 days. But once established, mache produces through the coldest months. Plant it now and you'll have fresh salad greens in February. Mizuna is a Japanese mustard green with feathery leaves and a mild, spicy flavor. It grows incredibly fast in cool weather. Direct seed it in rows 8 inches apart. Thin seedlings to 6 inches between plants. You can start harvesting outer leaves in 3 weeks and the plant will keep producing for months. One row of mizuna provides more greens than most families can eat. Hakare turnips are nothing like the woody turnips most people remember hating as kids. These Japanese salad turnips are crisp, sweet, and mild. They mature in 38 to 40 days, making them one of the fastest root crops you can grow. Plant seeds half an inch deep in rows 12 inches apart. Thin to 3 inches between plants. The greens are edible too and taste similar to mustard greens. Harvest when turnips are golf ball sized for the best texture and flavor. Watermelon radishes take longer than standard radishes, but they're worth the wait. 60 days from seed to harvest. The outside is pale green or white. Cut them open and the inside is bright pink with white streaks. They're mildly spicy and stay crisp even when they get large. Plant seeds 1 inch apart, half an inch deep. Thin to 3 inches apart once they sprout. These radishes can handle light frost without any protection. Cylindra beets grow long and cylindrical instead of round. This shape makes them easier to slice uniformly. They take 55 to 60 days to mature. Plant seeds 1 inch deep, 2 inches apart. Beet seeds are actually seed clusters, so you'll get multiple seedlings from each seed. Thin ruthlessly to 4 inches between plants. Use the thinnings as baby greens in salads. Bok choy is the gateway to Asian greens, but most gardeners stop there. Tatsoi grows in beautiful dark green rosettes flat against the ground. The leaves have a mild mustard flavor and stay tender even as plants mature. It's cold hardy to 15 degrees and actually tastes sweeter after frost. Direct seed now and harvest in 45 days. Plant seeds 6 inches apart in a grid pattern. Komatsuna looks similar to spinach but grows faster and tolerates more cold. It matures in 35 to 40 days. The leaves stay mild and sweet through multiple harvests. Cut individual outer leaves or harvest whole plants. Either way, it produces abundantly. Seeds need to be planted 1 inch apart in rows 8 inches apart. Thin to 4 inches between plants. Yukina Savoy has thick, crinkled leaves that hold up well in cooking. Raw leaves taste mild with a slight mustard bite. Cooked, they become sweet and tender. This green is ready to harvest in 40 days and keeps producing if you harvest outer leaves. Plant it the same way as Komatsuna. 1 4-foot row provides enough greens for multiple stir-fries per week. Cilantro bolts to seed in warm weather, making it frustrating to grow in summer. November is when cilantro thrives. Cool temperatures keep it in leaf production for months. Sow seeds directly in the garden 1/2 inch deep, 1 inch apart. No need to thin. Dense planting provides more leaves. Harvest by cutting stems at ground level when plants reach 6 to 8 inches tall. They'll regrow for multiple cuttings through winter. Parsley takes forever to germinate. 14 to 21 days is normal, but once established, it produces heavily through winter in mild climates. Flat-leaf Italian parsley has better flavor than curly types. Plant seeds 1 inch apart in rows. Keep soil consistently moist until germination. Thin to 6 inches between plants once they're growing. Cut stems from the outside of the plant and leave the center to keep producing. Chervil is an underused herb that tastes like mild parsley with hints of anise. It's delicate and doesn't transplant well, so direct seeding is the only practical method. Seeds need light to germinate, so barely cover them with soil. Plant them 6 inches apart. Chervil is ready to harvest in 6 to 8 weeks and prefers shade in mild climates. Plant it under taller crops or on the north side of structures. Overwatering is the biggest killer of fall-planted crops. November brings cooler temperatures and often rain. Soil doesn't dry out like it does in summer. Many gardeners keep watering on their summer schedule and drown their plants. Root rot and damping off become problems in soggy soil. Water only when the top inch of soil feels dry. In many mild winter climates, natural rainfall provides enough moisture. Check soil before watering instead of following a rigid schedule. Planting too late is another common mistake. Even fast-growing crops need time to establish before the shortest days of winter arrive. Daylight drops below 10 hours in December. Plant growth slows dramatically when days are that short. Seeds planted in mid-November might germinate fine, but the resulting plants will sit without much growth until late January when days start lengthening again. Get everything in the ground by mid-November at the latest for best results. Using summer planting depths causes problems too. Soil stays cooler in November than in summer. Seeds planted too deep might rot before they germinate. Plant most seeds slightly shallower than packet directions suggest. A 1/4 inch difference matters when soil temperatures are marginal. Day length affects plant growth more than most gardeners realize. Plants measure day length to determine whether to grow leaves or produce flowers and seeds. In November, days are already short and getting shorter. This works in your favor for leafy greens and root crops. They'll focus on leaf and root production instead of trying to flower. But it means growth will be slower than the same crops planted in early spring when days are lengthening. A crop that matures in 30 days during spring might take 45 days when planted in November. The plants are growing during the period of shortest day length. Expect harvest times to extend by about 50% compared to spring planting. This doesn't mean you shouldn't plant. It means you need to adjust expectations and get seeds in the ground now rather than waiting. Light intensity matters too, not just day length. Winter sun sits lower in the sky and passes through more atmosphere. Choose the sunniest spots in your garden for November planting. Areas that get part shade in summer might be too shady for good winter growth. Remove any weeds or debris that could cast shadows on your crops. Even mild winter climates get occasional cold snaps. One night of unexpected frost can damage or kill tender plants. Row covers are the easiest protection method. Lightweight fabric row covers trap heat and protect plants down to about 28 degrees. Drape them directly over plants or support them with hoops. Make sure edges are secured with soil, boards, or landscape staples. Wind can blow covers off and leave plants exposed. Cold frames take more effort to build but provide better protection. A cold frame is basically a bottomless box with a clear lid. The sides can be wood, cinder blocks, or bales of straw. The lid is usually an old window or a sheet of clear plastic. Position cold frames facing south for maximum sun exposure. Open the lid during warm days or heat will build up and cook your plants. Mulch provides root protection during cold weather. Apply 2 to 3 inches of straw, shredded leaves, or grass clippings around plants once they're established. Mulch insulates soil and keeps root zones warmer during cold nights. It also suppresses weeds and retains moisture, reducing how often you need to water. Calendula isn't just a pretty flower. The petals are edible and add color to salads. Calendula thrives in cool weather and often blooms continuously from November through April in mild climates. Direct seed now for flowers by late December. Plant seeds 1 inch apart, 1/4 inch deep. Thin to 8 inches between plants. Calendula self-seeds readily, so you'll likely only need to plant it once. Snapdragons are surprisingly cold hardy. They can handle temperatures down to the low 20s. Fall-planted snapdragons develop strong root systems and bloom heavily in late winter and early spring. Start from transplants rather than seeds for faster results. Space plants 8 to 10 inches apart in full sun. Deadhead spent flowers to encourage continuous blooming. Alyssum creates a carpet of tiny white, pink, or purple flowers. It has a sweet honey scent that attracts beneficial insects even in winter. Direct seed alyssum in areas between vegetables or along path edges. Seeds are tiny, mix them with sand for easier broadcasting. No need to cover them with soil. Keep the area moist until seedlings appear in 7 to 10 days. Alyssum tolerates light foot traffic and fills in bare spots quickly. Start with fast-growing greens first. Plant arugula, mizuna, and mache this week. These will provide your first harvest in 3 to 4 weeks. Next, get root crops in the ground. Hacare turnips, watermelon radishes, and cylindra beets all need the full November to December growing window. Plant these within the next few days. Add Asian greens and herbs over the next week. Tatsoi, komatsuna, cilantro, and parsley can go in any time this month. Space planting's a week apart if you want to spread out harvest times. Finally, tuck in some flowers around the edges. Calendula, snapdragons, and alyssum will provide color and attract beneficial insects. This sequence ensures you get the most time-sensitive crops planted first while still filling your entire garden. By mid-December, you'll have a garden full of actively growing plants that will provide fresh harvest through winter. The small effort of planting now pays off for months. Start this week while conditions are still ideal.